I'm Joseph Coco at SPX 2013 on behalf of Nattosoup, Keep on Truckin, the art process blog. And if you could introduce yourself, Raina?
Yeah, I'm Raina Telgemeier. I'm the creator of Smile and Drama and the Babysitter's Club adaptations, all from Plastic.
Yes, some amazing works. So what's bringing you to SPX this year?
Well, I've been coming to SPX since 2003, so this is basically my 10-year anniversary, although I had to skip a couple of years.
Exciting.
Things like weddings.
Oh.
Married in September, what's that about? But it's one of my favorite small press shows. I just love the energy here. My first year here, I was making mini comics, and I just found that the community is super supportive. I made a lot of friends, and I've just loved coming back ever since.
Right, I've gotten a lot of positive responses from people who are doing all ages sort of comics, and you found that SPX is a great place to sell those items as well?
For sure. It's always been fun to sell to parents, and parents are always coming around seeing, what's on the table, and is this something that my kids can read and I can share with them. And over the years, it's not just parents, now it's parents and their kids. And sometimes kids are like coming with their friends. So you'll just get these groups of kids now who are just at SPX discovering a bunch of new stuff, and looks on their faces. It's kind of invaluable. Love it.
Definitely. Well, as librarians are starting to get some of your books actually in schools and that sort of thing, are you finding that the kids are recognizing you just as much as the parents are?
Usually it's the kids that recognize me.
Oh, that's
they're
awesome.
Telling their parents to come and see me. Yeah.
Okay. So it's much easier if the kid is pulling the parent over, because I've seen parents just shuffling their kids along without even giving the books a second glance, just saying, don't open that, it might be bad. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your experiences in the all ages comic publishing? Maybe how you got started?
Well, I just started making mini comics, and I started making them in college, and then just kept doing it after graduation. And most of the stories I was writing about were childhood stories. Most of them were about my own childhood, but sometimes they'd be just like fictional versions of my own childhood. And like I said, parents always asked if there was stuff for their kids to read, because my stuff looked so kid-friendly. And the more they asked me that, the more I wanted to say it. So I started to just focus on kid-centered stories. And Scholastic, there were two editors from Scholastic that I met in 2003, and they both liked what I was doing and thought, hey, you might be a good candidate for coming and working for us at a publisher, and not working for them, but doing books for them.
Okay.
But I had only ever written short stories. I wasn't quite ready to jump into writing full-length graphic novels. So I started adapting the Babysitter's Club series into graphic novels. So that was my first professional gig. I did that for 4 years, and then they asked, what else you got? And I had been working on a webcomic since 2004 called Smile, and that was about my own orthodontic experience as a teenager.
Yep.
So they offered to publish it, and that was published in 2010, and the rest is kind of history.
And how closely did you work with the editors to adapt these to longer form comics?
You mean the Babysitter's Club?
Yes, the Babysitter's Club.
Closely enough. Luckily, they sort of trusted my instincts as a cartoonist.
Right.
And were really great about allowing me to make it my own adaptation. But I was really trying to stay faithful to the source material, because I respected it so much, and I respected the author so much. So I tried to keep the spirit of the originals very much intact, even though I was sometimes changing, outfits or little details, like the characters would watch a VHS tape, and I'd change it to a DVD instead, things like that. But I think I tried to keep the spirit true, and they were gracious about letting me do that. And the fans also responded really well. The original fans, the adults who are my age, who are the Babysitter's Club when they were kids.
Awesome.
They liked it a lot, and that made me really happy.
Yes, that's why they call it all ages. So you were on a couple panels here at SPX. I'm not sure how many panels you've done in the past. Okay, just one.
That's okay.
Is there anything in particular that you do to try to prepare yourself to go on these panels, or it's a very casual thing where they're just saying this is what's expected of you and you need to show up, answer questions, and you're good?
It depends on the panel. This one was just an interview. There was Chris Mountner, the interviewer, and then Jane Yang and myself were the two panelists. And it was just supposed to be a conversation with the two of us about our work and publishing and kids' books and stuff. So it was really fun and easy. Sometimes if I'm doing a presentation that's a solo presentation, I prepare a slideshow, and that usually takes a little bit more work just to, get all the slides together and figure out what I'm going to talk about for 45 minutes. But I've been doing that for about 5 or 6 years now, so I'm pretty good at it. I think I've done it enough times that it just kind of comes naturally to me. Yeah, so I love it, and it's great when there's an audience, and it's great when you're getting their feedback. That's what makes it fun.
So as you're getting more popular, I know you're starting to work with other artists, you're starting to work with other writers. What's been your experience with that? I know you're talking about the difficulty in losing some of the control in working with other people.
Actually, it's more that I did work with other people as sort of a way to get the permission to do my own stuff. So I worked on the Babysitters Club. I did the book X-Men Misfits, with a collaboration between my husband and I and an artist named Anzu. And then I started really doing stuff that was all me. So for me, that was always the goal, was to be completely self-sufficient, start to finish, artist, writer, everything. The only thing I don't do is color my own work.
Okay.
I work with a colorist, and that's because if I were to color my own work, it would add 6 months to my production.
Very time consuming.
So in the interest of getting books out a little bit quicker, I have someone else color. But yeah, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing all my own stuff. That's what I enjoy the most, I have to say.
Okay, well, for someone who might not have the luxury of working with a color person, do you think kids would respond as well to black and white comics as they would to color?
In my experience, kids like color better. There are always going to be some kids like me who grew up with black and white comics and are fine with them. But I did see that the Babysitters Club, which were published in color, were somewhat popular. And then Smile was published and that was in color. And suddenly everybody was more excited about it. They would look in the interior and go, great, I'll take it. And it was just an easier sell. And now I'll have kids that look up the Babysitters Club. They haven't read them yet, but they go, why isn't it in color? Then I don't want to read it. So some kids are kind of biased, but it might just be because they haven't yet experienced a black and white comic that they fell in love with.
Okay.
So once they read the Babysitters Club, they're fun with it.
All right, I know you have some things in the work, a story about some sisters, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm not supposed to talk about it too much. It is called Sisters. It's coming out from Spastic in 2014, next September. So by the next SPX, I should be with the books in hand. But my publisher is like, don't say too much, other than it is a true story about me and my sister. So
awesome. All right, we'll be looking forward to that. Is there any advice you could give to someone who's considering coming to SPX, maybe for the first time?
Oh wow. Well, if you can score a table for starters, then you're halfway there. I mean, it's a really, really nice show. It's really friendly. It's really warm and inviting. And so just having books that you feel good about and that you are happy to put into other people's hands is the most important thing. So people that come to SPX with books that they like saved until the last second and like just dashed off and they're all crooked and stuff.
Yeah. They printed them at the Staples across the street.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's something beautiful about the spirit of a last minute throw together project. But I think people can really see the love and care that go into the mini comics that you find here. And presentation matters. It doesn't matter 100%, but having an
especially for kids,
and,
a very colorful display.
On your table, having signs with prices on them.
Yeah.
Little details like that. They help. Take a shower.
Some pretty basic
Be
stuff.
friendly.
And is SPX where you first made some of your connections with the editors at Scholastic and other companies?
No, I met my editors. I met one in New York at a party.
Okay.
And networking. And I met one at San Diego Comic-Con. But I've met some of my favorite creators here. I've made some of my best friends here at SPX. And it's just like a big slumber party. Everybody just kind of hangs out and gets to know each other. So it's a great place to foster relationships with people.
Yeah, I've loved some of the after parties that they've put together. It's not just about the convention; it's activities for the artists. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Anything you wanted to promote?
Well, I mean, my books Smile and Drama are both available. You can get them just about anywhere. I recommend the Babysitter's Club to people too. And then on my website, goraina.com, I have a lot of resources. I have lists of recommended books by other creators. I have sort of step-by-step illustrated blog posts about like what goes into making a graphic novel. If you're curious about that. I talk about like writing and inspiration and all sorts of other things on my blog. And then I have a lot of webcomics on my site too. So if you want to read like old short stories that I've written over the past 10 years, there's a lot to choose from.
Of course. So you've been talking about the all ages kind of niche of comics. It has been growing. Would you recommend that someone who is producing work that's for all ages to actually identify themselves as such, or it's just something that your fans will discover?
Well, the term all ages is really unique to the comics industry. It doesn't really exist in the book market. So if you're looking to get your books into libraries and schools and bookstores, it helps to either call them kids comics or go a little bit further in figuring out exactly what your target age range is.
Okay.
But that's also the publisher's job. You know, if you're making mini comics, if you're self-publishing, I think it does help to define who you are and what you do and who it's for, because there will always be people that want to know, is this okay for my kid to read?
Right.
If it looks like it's kid-friendly, it helps to say that it is also.
Yeah.
And I think a show like SPX, people can tell, and people are willing to stop and chat and ask and get to the bottom of it. So, no, nothing wrong with putting it out there. That's what I say.
Okay. Well, thank you for the interview, Raina. I hope you have a good SPX.
Thank you so much.